right, we are live. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G-Lauren33. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast. Here tonight, Saturday night, depending when you guys are watching this, we are live reviewing NXT Takeover 30. The show ended a little bit ago, close to an hour ago. I got a little bit caught up because I have in the background, I have the Lakers and Blazers game being played on my TV. So that's one of the reasons why it took me a little bit. It took me a little bit longer to start the stream. But I told you guys, if you guys saw the SummerSlam preview and prediction show, that I was going to go live to review NXT Takeover 30. And this was a really good show tonight. Very enjoyable. I loved, most of the matches. The only thing I would really say, one of the only negatives that's coming out is I miss the NXT TakeOver crowds. Because one thing is, back when things were still normal before the pandemic, we, had all those shows at Full Sail, and then you would only have arena shows for the takeovers, and you only have about 5 takeovers a year. But now with the pandemic, clearly there's no fans in attendance other than the NXT talent. So still, that's the only thing. And for some of the stuff we saw on tonight's show, like for example, Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee, or Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. Imagine having fans in attendance for, those kinds of matches in some of those moments. That would be great. That would be fantastic. But unfortunately, because of what's going on in the world, we understand why things have to be like this. But I do think, and I talked about this on the SummerSlam review, that I do believe that we will be having fans back in attendance, at least for WWE sooner rather than later. You guys heard the reports about AEW Dynamite. They will be having fans in attendance at Daisy Place going forward. It's only going to be about 10 to 15% capacity, which is still close to 1,000 people, which is a lot. That's more than what they would have at the NXT Full Sail shows. So, Vince McMahon is going to see this, and it's only a matter of time. Till we start seeing fans at these NXT TakeOver shows, all right, and just WWE shows in general. So I would not be surprised by the next NXT TakeOver that we see fans in attendance. It may not be a full arena, but I do expect us to have some actual legitimate fans for the next NXT shows, and probably WWE going forward. We'll see. Right now, we have WWE Thunderdome to at least the end of October, but I would not be surprised by Survivor Series, and especially since it's going to be NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown once again. I definitely believe we will have fans back in attendance for the next NXT Takeover show. All right, but overall today, a very good show. I know we'd had AEW Dynamite as well. AEW Dynamite, they had a special 6 o'clock show because of the NBA playoffs. And definitely, I also think part of it, they kind of wanted to take a little bit of viewership away from the NXT pay-per-view, even though, you can just go back on the WWE network. But overall, I didn't watch AEW Dynamite for those of you guys that are asking. I do know that Brody Lee did become the new NXT, or not NXT, the new AEW TNT champion. He defeated Cody, so that's big. But that's all I know from the show, but I didn't watch it. But definitely NXT TakeOver 30, very good show tonight. We have a new NXT champion. The era of Karrion Kross begins. And like I said, if you guys see me just staring in different directions, it's because I do have the Blazers Lakers game in the background. But that was one of the only things that was going to keep me from doing an NXT TakeOver 30 review tonight. But the era of Karrion Kross has begun. TikTok! The time's up for Keith Lee. We are now in the Karrion Kross era. We did get an announcement tonight. We did get an announcement of the return of one of the greatest NXT champions of all time, Tommaso Ciampa. We have not seen him on NXT television in a couple months since, I think it was TakeOver in Your House, when he lost to Karrion Kross, which was, what was that? Maybe a month and a half. So definitely, with Ciampa, and the fact that Karrion Kross beat him pretty easily, back at In Your House, and now him making his big return. And we know that Ciampa wants to once again be NXT champion. He wants Goldie back. And now that Kross is the NXT champion. You guys can definitely see where this is going. Will Keith Lee, is he staying with NXT? Definitely, it's SummerSlam weekend, and we know there is going to be some call-ups. This happens every year after WrestleMania and after SummerSlam. There's usually a couple call-ups from NXT to the main roster, and I do also know there is going to be a WWE draft in October, so it's going to be interesting, But I definitely see, if they don't plan to, continue this Karrion Kross and Keith Lee story, I can definitely see Keith Lee moving up to the main roster. I think that's what's going to happen. And definitely Keith Lee would be a huge bonus. You guys know I love Keith Lee. He's one of my favorites. And plus, it would make sense. What else really is there for Keith Lee to do in NXT? What else is there? He won the North American Championship. He became double champion when he defeated Adam Cole at the Great American Bash. Oh, Carmelo just got a dunk. Blazers are running. Wow. Carmelo is heating up. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to try to stay focused on the review, man. But I definitely want to see the Blazers beat the Lakers. They got a really good game going on right now. But definitely, I could definitely see Keith Lee appearing on Monday Night Raw. Who knows? Maybe we get Keith Lee versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, or Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. I would definitely love to see Keith Lee on Raw. There's lots of matches you can do with him. And I don't think, I hate the way WWE treats, NXT talent, but there's no way you can treat Keith Lee. The guy's a badass. I don't think they would, bury Keith Lee on the main roster. But I don't know. You guys know I don't trust WWE in general. But still, Christopher Carter, you said, "Wow, bro." I don't know. Are you watching the game as well? I can't understand what you're saying, but either way, it was a great show by NXT. We also had Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Title, and it looks like Rhea Ripley is going to be the next challenger in line. Could we be seeing a Rhea Ripley heel turn? They definitely, at least teased that tonight as well. We also had Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. A lot of us were wondering, was that match going to deliver? How was Pat McAfee going to do? And Pat McAfee, man, he might be the biggest star of the night. All right, Pat McAfee showed out, absolutely showed out tonight in that match with Adam Cole. It was a great match, very enjoyable. We will talk about that tonight on the podcast. I'm going to try to keep the podcast a little bit short. Definitely, I got to save my voice a little bit for tomorrow's SummerSlam reaction. So we also got the SummerSlam review. So definitely, man, through 4 straight days of podcasts, you guys are getting. You guys got the SummerSlam preview and prediction show yesterday. You guys are getting NXT tonight. You guys are getting SummerSlam reaction and review tomorrow. And you guys are getting Monday Night Raw on Monday. So definitely, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell right next to my name, Fitz TV. So you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Because tons of content. You guys know how we do it here on the Legit You podcast. We do it better than anybody else. Good layup by CJ McCollum. But anyway, NXT TakeOver 30. Good show. Oh, we also got to talk about Adam Cole. If Keith Lee is going up to the main roster, I believe Adam Cole is going up with him. Maybe they both go to Raw and SmackDown. One of them goes to Raw, maybe another one goes to SmackDown. I think that's what could be happening here. Melo's cooking. Holy moly. Melo turning back the clock, going back in his prime. Woo! This Blazers-Lakers game is good, but Melo just scored like 8 points in the last 3 minutes. Cooking, turning back the clock. Anyway, let's get into the show tonight. NXT TakeOver 30. Like I said, it was a good show. I just wish there was fans in attendance for this, especially this being the 30th TakeOver. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Said TakeOver started, 5 years ago? 30 TakeOver shows, and I don't think I can name a bad TakeOver. I think every TakeOver has been good. There's been, amazing ones. There've been great ones, but I don't think there's ever been a bad NXT TakeOver. And this show definitely was not bad tonight. But getting into it, we started off with Breezango, and like I said, some of these matches I'm going to spend more time on than others. I don't want the podcast to be too long. Plus, I just have more to say about some of these matches. So don't get mad at me if I speed through some of this stuff. But we had Breezango versus Legado the fans. I can't say his name. All right, but versus Only Lorcan and Danny Burr. So this was on the pre-show. I didn't watch the pre-show, but I did watch the highlights. And basically, this was to determine who would face Imperium next for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I said this on the In Your House review. I have not been impressed with the tag team division. And it's not that there's not good teams in there. It's just that, when we look at the Undisputed Era, they're megastars. They're arguably the greatest NXT tag team of all time. Imperium's great, but they just don't have that level, I think, of superstardom and intensity. You guys see me complain about the tag team division in WWE in general. The Raw Tag Team Championships, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Women's Tag Team Championships, and the NXT Tag Team Championships. You guys have heard me complain about this for months. Tag team wrestling right now in WWE, all across the board, has been pretty weak. It's been pretty weak, and I'm just waiting for that big spark because NXT used to do tag team wrestling so great, but I don't know. I just don't know. But getting into the match was good. It was a good match. Kyra Breeze scored the win with a supermodel kick. So Breezango will be going up against Imperium for the tag team championship. We'll probably see that on NXT. I don't know if that match was announced for this week, but probably sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll see that match on NXT TV. Could I see Breezango finally becoming NXT tag team championships? I can. You set them back down to NXT from the main roster, and they've definitely improved as a tag team. Tyler Breeze, I think he's one of the most underrated performers in that company. Fandango, he's definitely shown signs of improvement, and definitely they've had this feud going with Imperium for a while now. So definitely, I think it is time for Breezango to get the NXT tag team titles. Maybe they hold the titles for a little bit and drop them back to Imperium. I don't know, but definitely I would like to see Breezango get their due. But still, the match itself, it was quick. It was fast paced and quick because clearly they were short on time because it took place right near the end of the pre-show. But I do wish the match got a little bit longer, 5 to 10 more minutes, but still, it was a good match. It wasn't bad at all. It was a good pre-show match, and Breezango got the victory. So we'll see what happens against them when they go up against Imperium. So getting on to the main card, we had Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher to start the show, and it kind of made sense. It's ironic. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Finn Balor was on the first NXT Takeover. I think he was. He was the longest reigning NXT champion for a good 3-4 years until Adam Cole ended his reign, deservedly. But it's like NXT's past and present here with Finn Balor, and this was just a technical submission styles match. You're gonna get a lot of submissions here with Timothy Thatcher. And these two styles clash really well. Thatcher did have the size advantage, but still Balor rushed him to counter that here. And then Balor was even out wrestling. And we know Timothy Thatcher, if you guys have watched NXT, he's been doing these wrestling school like promos in like a dungeon style for weeks. So it made sense here, but this was just a flat out wrestling clinic. First couple of minutes of the match was technical, or there was some wrestles and some transitions, and this was to basically see how Balor's technical ability would go up against Timothy Thatcher, because Timothy Thatcher had the advantage in that department. But definitely great grappling was on display here, and Thatcher took control halfway, and he was putting Balor through every single hold and submission you could think of. Then we saw Balor. He went for a coup de grace, but missed. Thatcher seized the opportunity and put him in the Boston leg crab. And basically, Finn was barely able to fight out of it. Then we also saw more holds from Thatcher, but then Balor was able to fight out. He was able to put enough power on the left leg to hit him with the coup de grace and then hit him with a 1916 for the win. So Finn Balor gets the win here in a really good match. This was just not really a story here. This was more just a flat-out wrestling clinic between two of the best wrestlers in NXT. Great submission hold, great grappling technician work here, and Balor gets the win. No surprise here. It's going to be interesting to see where Balor goes from here. Definitely, maybe you can build Finn Balor up to go after Karrion Kross for the NXT title. You could easily have Cross, or not Cross, you could easily have Balor go up against Priest, but we already seen that. We just saw that match at NXT Takeover in your house about a month and a half ago. So it was a really good match in your house, but maybe you do the match again. Priest gets the win this time, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where they go with Balor from here. I'm not 100% sure where they should go, but either way, it was a good match. Oh man, Blazers got to rebound better, bro. Lakers are just out rebounding them on every level. It's hurting them. Yeah, the Lakers now have about a 8-point lead. Blazers can easily come back, but you gotta make your shots because they're clearly getting outboarded by AD and the Lakers. But anyway, getting back into it, we had the North American Championship ladder match. With these 5 competitors, I had 2 people that could win this match that I was thinking about. I was thinking of what's his name, Damian Priest and Bronson Lee. You know, Velveteen Dream, if he had won this match, and I tweeted this earlier in the week, there would have been riots on Twitter. Would have been riots on Twitter, especially with everything that's been going on with Velveteen Dream. We'll talk about Dream a little bit later. It looks like he may have been written off WWE TV tonight, but we're not exactly sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But we all knew if did I say Bronson Lee? My bad. But still, Velveteen Dream, man. If he had won this match, it would have been rise on Twitter. And here's my thoughts on it. Really, Dream. I like Dream. I love seeing people of color get opportunities, especially in WWE. And I'm always going by the logic: innocent till proven guilty. You guys remember what happened with Enzo Amore? We all came out. Everybody came out and called Enzo guilty, including me. We all called Enzo guilty, but he was proven innocent. It was a false claim against him, and it's ruined his career. We haven't seen Enzo. He hasn't been the same since then. And now, Velveteen Dream, the accusations and the proof against him, they're there. They're there, but still, it's interesting. We don't know what's going to happen with the Velveteen Dream, and I don't know if he's innocent or guilty. But the fact that he's on WWE TV, I still wouldn't have him on there until they had more conclusive proof that he was actually innocent. And definitely, if Velveteen Dream had won tonight, it would have been bad. It would have been bad, but they didn't go down that direction. But yeah, and then Johnny Gargano. I love Gargano, but I did not have him winning the match. I don't think anybody had Gargano win the match. I love Gargano, but to me, man, I don't know. I love Gargano with Candice LeRae, but for some reason, it just feels like he's getting stale. Not from a wrestling perspective, he's not getting stale, but in terms of just, I don't know where you go with him. I don't know what you do with him. Gargano, he should always be in the title picture, but I don't see Gargano winning the NXT title. I don't see him winning the North American title. So like I'm just like, where do you go from him? And I know Gargano, he's like NXT for life, but so I'm just gonna be honest, I just don't know what you do with Gargano right now. So that was my thoughts going into the match. The match was great. The intensity was there. It had that ladder match mentality. I was looking to compare it to the last North American Championship ladder match, the one where Adam Cole won a couple years ago, and it was there. It just didn't have the crowd. That was it. But we saw there was funny moments of Gargano was ordering Dream and Grimes to go after the baby faces, and basically Gargano expert heel move. He climbs the ladder behind their back. The heels noticed this and they stopped him, of course. But basically there was a lot of unique things here. But there was a point where Reed crushed all opponents and all 4 of his opponents in the corner with ladders between them. And there was this after that, it was this big spot after big spot after big spot. Every superstar had a moment here. It was a great moment. Candice LeRae, of course, coming down to try to help her husband, Johnny. Cameron Grimes was winning or was climbing the ladder. And we see LeRae actually pull pull Grimes off the ladder, start beating the crap out of him, which I loved. I'm not the biggest fan of Cameron Grimes. I think the guy's pretty a clown. But anyway, there was a really good moment. Gargano helped Lorray onto the top rope, where she delivered a Hurricane Rana from the apron on Grimes, and it hit some of their opponents on the ground below. And Blazers, man, Blazers are starting to struggle, bro. They're down by 12. Like, they gotta pick up the pace here. But still, uh there was a moment also where Reed was climbing the ladder. Lorray climbed up to stop him, and Lorray hit Gargano with a splash with Lorray. Or no, Reed, my bad. Reed crushed Gargano with a splash from the top of the ladder with Lorray on his back, taking out all three men. Then, scary. It looked like Dream had the match in hand. He climbed the ladder towards the end, but Reed sent him flying off it. And legit, Dream, and the thing is, the camera didn't really get a good look at it. I don't know if this was on purpose or something like that. But when Reed knocks Dream off the ladder, Dream goes flying out of the ring, through the or not through, flying past the barricade onto the floor. I think he landed on a gym mat, but still, it was a brutal spot. Dream did a good job of selling it. I don't know if this is WWE trying to write Dream off television. They easily could do that. This could be writing Dream off television. Definitely there's been petitions out for Dream to be fired from WWE. I never want to see someone lose their job, especially if they're innocent. But definitely, I don't think it was that smart to bring Dream back to television, especially when people still have, the accusations about him in their mind. And the proof does look like he may have done something, but until there's conclusive proof, I have to go with the innocent till proven guilty on that. But still, looked like for now, Dream has been taken off of television. But getting back into the ring, Gargano recovered, and Marcus Morris for 3. Nope, misses it. Dang, Blazers is giving up way too many offensive boards. It's giving the Lakers way too many shots. It's really that simple. They got to rebound better if they want to win this game. Anyway, Gargano climbed the ladder, but he was met by Damian Priest. Damian Priest knocks Gargano off the ladder, and he claims the title. So I don't know. Is Damian Priest a babyface now? What is this feud with Cameron Grimes? Is he now a babyface? I don't know. I'm just asking. But still, Damian Priest wins the NXT North American Championship. Well deserved. He was one of the 2 men I had to win. And definitely, there's a lot of opponents you could go here against him. But it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do. But still, this was a really good match. And, very, very proud of everyone involved. They brought the intensity, and this was great. This was great. Later in the night, we saw Damian Priest. He was leaving the arena, the Performance Center, and he went into a car and put his bag in. And I think he was interviewed by Caleb Braxton, I think. But he got into a hot tub with these 2 beautiful ladies. And Triple H, how Triple H loves to take photos with new champions. So, that was pretty cool to see. Blazers down by 7 going into the 4th. Let's go Blazers. I'm not a Blazers fan, but I'm not a Lakers fan, so I'm going with Dame. So that's why I just let you guys know about that. But still, this was a really good match. Happy for Priest, and we'll see where they go with him as the North American champion. All right, Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. This was one of the 2 biggest matches of the night because everyone wanted to see, could Pat McAfee live up to the hype? We know Adam Cole. We know how great he is. He's one of the best in the world at what he does. Greatest NXT champion of all time. And we just wanted to see how would Pat McAfee do in the ring with Adam Cole. This was way more about Pat McAfee than Adam Cole. I didn't give Pat McAfee any chance of winning. I don't think they were going to disrespect Adam Cole, your longest rating NXT champion, by having an outsider of all people beat him. But still, we have Adam Cole here versus Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, man, he had the performance of the night. He actually looked like a decent wrestler. I would rather watch a Pat McAfee match than Nia Jax or Tamina or Dana Brooke on any night. I really think Pat McAfee is better than all those. And if Pat ever wanted to have a serious career in WWE, I would be all behind it. I'm not a big fan of outsiders coming in, but still, I'm getting all these messages, bro. Like, people need to understand. But anyway, uh so I'm just looking at my notes. But we saw Cole came out with the Undisputed Era. Cole didn't send his teammates back because he wanted McAfee to himself. And still, McAfee kept his cronies at ringside because he wanted to intimidate Cole. Like, that was going to work. But I didn't like how the match started. How you going to start a match between Adam Cole and Pat McAfee with a basic collar and elbow tie-up? First of all, Pat McAfee's not a full-time wrestler. As impressive as he was tonight, he's not a full-time wrestler. And how you gonna start off with a collar and elbow tie-up with a guy who's an outsider, a podcaster, a former NFL player? How you gonna set the matchup like that? Still, but we saw McAfee use a nice little leapfrog to get himself out of harm's way. He was proud of himself, but he almost ate a super kick from Cole right there. And we saw McAfee's crew. They tried to intimidate Cole again, but then the UA came out, and it was a great drive. McAfee did a swanton bomb off the top rope. Looked beautiful. Swanton bomb that would definitely make Jeff Hardy proud. But then we saw Cole. Cole took a lot of punishment here. Plus, he did an amazing job of selling it. But I was surprised that they had Cole take that much punishment. But they really wanted to build up Pat McAfee as, excuse me, a credible threat. Oh, nice dunk by Jurkic. Fourth quarter. Let's go. Let's go, Blazers. Let's go, Blazers. Come on. Then we saw how basically Cole then hit him with a fireman carry neck breaker and a backstabber. He also had a perfect black flip. Beautiful. From the top rope. But then we also saw Cole. Cole used the steel steps. Cole used the steel steps to take out McAfee's leg, and then he put McAfee in the figure four. But then we saw McAfee go for a low blow when the ref was not looking, and that allowed him to punt Cole, but Cole kicked out at 2 3/4, which was a really close fall. For a second, I thought McAfee almost won the match, and I was about to get pissed. I was like, no way they're actually doing this. But then we saw Cole be able to counter. He hit the Panorama Sunrise. McAfee did an amazing job selling it. I thought we would see Cole go for the last shot, but he didn't go for it. And he hit the Panorama Sunrise, went for the pin, and got the victory. So this was definitely, if we're talking about, celebrity matches, we don't see. We see this maybe 2 to 3 times a year. This was a really good celebrity match, and I feel like if we had the crowd there, the crowd would have been booing the crap out of Pat McAfee. But overall, this was a good match. Very, very impressed with Pat McAfee's performance. Definitely, if he wants to have a future in WWE, he definitely has it. I'm not a big fan of celebrity matches. You guys know me. If you guys have, been subscribed to me for any amount of time, you guys know I don't like when they bring in names like, a Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I wasn't a big fan of it with Pat McAfee, but the match did deliver. And definitely, I do think this could be a goodbye match for Adam Cole. Just like potentially what we see with Keith Lee tonight. I do think there's a really good chance we see Undisputed Era and Keith Lee both debut later this week on Raw and SmackDown. And if it did, he deserves it. There's really nothing else for him to do in NXT. He won the Dusty Rhodes Classic. He won the Tag Team titles with Undisputed Era. He won the North American Championship, first ever North American title. And he's the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. There's nothing else for him to do. I don't think anybody wants to see a match with Cole and Karrion Kross. I don't think that's really believable. Yeah, they could always have Cole go after the North American title, but what's the point? I hate when they take superstars that were world champions and then have them go up against mid card champions. The way what I would do, I would have Cole debut with the rest of the Undisputed Era. There's nothing else for them to do. They're probably the best faction in the history of NXT, and they've done it all. They've done it all. So really, there's nothing else for them to do. Oh, what up, Ultra Instinct Paul? Put that shit on Do Not Disturb. LO, I believe that. But definitely, still, I got the Lakers game on in the background. Lakers only leading by 3. Let's go Blazers, bro. But still, definitely, if you guys are in the chat, make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys are enjoying the stream so far. But definitely, this was one of the best celebrity matches in WWE history. But still, I'm just not a big fan of these. But if it is Adam Cole's last match in NXT, definitely he went out with a bang. And Pat McAfee, he gets the performance of the night. Moving on, we had for the NXT Women's Championship, we had Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai. I thought personally this was probably going to be the best match of the night, and it was a good match, really good. Dakota Kai is very underrated. Her and Tegan Nox, I say this all the time. I think they're two of the most underrated superstars in NXT. And one thing with Dakota Kai, babyface heel, she's great at what she does. And I just hate how they give Dakota Kai, a push here and then they slow down her momentum. I definitely think when we had the WWE draft, we could see Dakota Kai get called up because I'm just like, where do you go with Dakota Kai now? It's I don't see her getting another match. She lost clean. So I don't know where you go from. And she's basically feuded with basically everybody. But also, I can post this a lot with a lot of the NXT roster. I think NXT needs to start replenishing their roster. And with the draft happening in October, I definitely think, especially those WWE talents that are not being used. All right. That should be. This dude, my boy just texted me saying, let's play Pacify. I'm not playing Pacify tonight. I got the Lakers game. I'm live streaming on the podcast right now. Hell no. But still, I gotta say this. I definitely think we're gonna see a good amount of main roster talent because I don't look at NXT as the developmental brand anymore. I don't. It's the legit third brand of WWE. Yes, it may not be on the level of the main roster, but still, I don't consider it a developmental or the minor leagues. It's a legit third brand for WWE. And I just think a lot of talent that's not being used on the main roster should be moved down to NXT. Look what it's done for Finn Balor and Breezango. Definitely, I don't want to go through because there's a list, but I think there's a lot of talent on the main roster that could very well benefit being down in NXT, and I think that's going to happen. Because if you look at it, I don't know where some of these superstars go. I really don't, but I can definitely see maybe like a Dana Brooke or a Carmella. You know what I mean? Maybe even, I don't know, maybe a Liv Morgan. I can see a lot of these superstars benefiting from being in NXT. But definitely, this was a really good match. And, you know, captain of Team Kick, Dakota Kai, she took control early, but the champ rebounded. And we saw Kai. She did a great job being the heel here, using the ring post. You could definitely see the NXT talent were on the side of Io here. And I also gotta say, Sasha Banks and Bayley, the best female wrestler in the world, the two best female superstars on the main roster right now, they were in attendance. We also had Cesaro and Drew McIntyre in attendance for tonight's show, and I enjoyed it. I think with not having a crowd there, having those superstars there made the show feel more important. And I didn't mention this before, but did you guys see that NXT Takeover 30 set? It legit looked like a dumbed down version of the WrestleMania 30 set. They had, the three X's, which in, Roman numerals stands for 30. And I loved it. I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H had them actually, because I know that they keep their sets and everything that they use in the WWE warehouses. So I would not be surprised if WWE had and Triple H and company had them bring in Damian Lillard for 3, and he got fouled. Thank you. J.R. Smith, shut up. You fouled him. Like I said, man, this Lakers game is really intense. But definitely, I would not be surprised if they actually had, if Triple H company had, DDB crew bring in parts of the WrestleMania 30 set for the NXT TakeOver set. It looked beautiful. So I just wanted to mention that. Let me know what you guys thought of the NXT TakeOver 30 set, bro, in the chat. But so this was a really good match, really enjoyable. Dakota Kai dominated. She did a lot of arm holds, working on Io's right arm. Io then found her second win and made the comeback. And I was wondering, would we see Sasha or Bayley, maybe Asuka interfere here? Maybe, you never know. Especially, Io being a close friend of Asuka with that big match happening tomorrow night with SummerSlam, which I'm terrified for. But we didn't see any involvement from any main roster superstars, which I have no problem with. But we then saw Io Shirai near the end here. She did hit the moonsault, but yeah, and she hit the moonsault right after breaking out of Dakota Kai's armbar. But the referee was knocked down and couldn't make the count. So here I got worried here for a second. I was like, oh. Usually this is something you see with heels. So here you have the babyface hitting her finisher and not being able to get the pin because the ref is out. So for a second there, I thought, okay, Io might be losing. We might actually see a new champion. But we saw Raquel Gonzalez. She gave it the ring, and then she hit a devastating powerbomb on Io. And basically, then she woke the ref up. She dragged Kai on top of Io for the pin, but Io barely kicked out at 2 3/4. Then after that, we saw Rhea Ripley come down. Rhea Ripley comes down with a new look. You guys know she has the blonde hair now, but she also has like a black lipstick. She kind of giving up that little goth look, which I didn't mind. I do miss Rhea's old look though. I miss the short hair with the more light brown look, but still I don't mind this at all. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of changes with Rhea Ripley's character as of late. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this. But hey, Blazers, man, Blazers, make a shot, Blazers. Come on. Damn, down by 7. Come on, Blazers. Damn, get hot. It's Dame time. Like I said, this game is so intense. But moving on, Rhea Ripley came down, confronted Gonzalez. Really cool stare down. So definitely we're going to probably see that match in the next couple weeks on NXT. Probably we'll see a tag team match with Kai and Gonzalez and Ripley and, Sarai, because you know how WWE is. But Rhea kept Gonzalez from attacking Sarai. Sarai hits the moonsault once again, got the cover for the win. So then we saw afterwards Rhea Ripley staring down Gonzalez. Then Gonzalez and Kai left. Like I said, I don't know where you go with Kai from here. Like I said, I would love to see Kai on the main roster, but I don't know if WWE would push her, especially with how talented she is. She is fantastic, but I just don't know where Kai goes from here. But definitely, you had Rhea Ripley after Gonzalez and Kai left. Rhea Ripley just staring a hole through Io Shirai. Rhea Ripley clearly wants to be NXT champion again, and I don't really see anybody else in line. We've already seen Shirai defeat Tegan Nox. You guys know how much I love Tegan Nox. We've seen her defeat Kai. There's really nobody else other than Rhea Ripley. You can make an argument for, Mia Lim or, Candice LeRae. But other than that, Rhea Ripley is clearly looks like she's going to be the next in line for the NXT title. Trying to regain the title she should have never lost. I've said this how many times? Rhea Ripley should have never lost that championship at WrestleMania 30 and or WrestleMania 36 back in April. But, the Charlotte Flair agenda, and like I said, I'm not trying to rant or anything tonight, but I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. The way Rhea Ripley, her body language, maybe we're gonna get a heel Rhea Ripley. I wouldn't mind it. I don't mind Rhea. Rhea's great as a babyface, but she's also great as a heel. And with this new look, the changes they're making to her character, maybe we see Rhea turn heel to go up against Io. Maybe that's what he needs to find that intensity again to regain the NXT title. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Looks like we are heading towards Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai, which should have been the feud. Which should have been the feud coming out of WrestleMania. Charlotte should have never won that NXT Women's Championship. But still, it looks like we're getting Rhea and Io going forward, which should be fantastic. Definitely excited for that. So yeah, but overall, great match with Kai and Sarai. I don't know where Kai goes from here, but still great match. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Getting into the last thing on tonight's podcast, the main event, Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, NXT champion. You guys know how much I love Keith Lee. But with the way you've pushed Kross, and yes, we can debate all we want. They did rush this a little bit with Kross. They did. You know, he came in, he had one pay-per-view match against Ciampa, and he skyrocketed to the top of NXT. I felt like the road should have been a little bit slower, but they decided to go with Kross versus Keith Lee here. And I hate that Keith Lee was a transitional champion, but there was no way that Kross was not going to win, especially with how you built him. All right. And it kind of reminded me with what happened with Drew McIntyre. Remember, Drew McIntyre won the NXT championship. I believe he lost it in his first defense to Andrade. So, and then like a couple days later, we saw McIntyre on the main roster. I feel like that's the same thing they're doing here with Keith Lee. And they had a fantastic video package hyping up Kross and Lee. And I love it. And I love the Kross entrance. I just wish we could see it with an NXT crowd. And hopefully, when things get back to normal, we'll get that, man. Because I would love to see and hear the fans going, fall and pray. Fall and pray. McCollum hits a good jumper there. Let's go, Blazers. Make this comeback. They're only down by, I think, 5 now. But anyway, the match did start off a little bit slow. It did start off a little bit slow. They were fighting around ringside. And, as the match progressed, Kross did do some arm holds, some rest holds to try to keep Lee down. Lee did come back. The pace did intensify, but it never hit that extra gear. For a match that was as hyped as this one, I really wanted this match to hit an extra gear, but it just never did. But it doesn't mean that the match wasn't bad. Some matches you need to have a slower pace. Look at The Undertaker. He was the king of slow-paced matches, and he's one of the best of all time. But either way, man, I just didn't like the slow pace. That was probably my only problem with the match. The match wasn't bad, but I was just waiting for the match to, intensify and reach that extra gear, but it never really did. Oh, Carmelo with another jumper. But there was power moves after power moves, clubbing blows after clubbing blows, and we saw Kross. He put Lee into the cross jacket. Lee was in the cross jacket for a good 2-3 minutes, and Lee did, as the babyface, he did fight back. There was no way Kross or not Kross. There was no way Lee was going to tap out. But damn, come on, bro. Come on, Dave, you got to make that floater. Down by 9, 5 minutes left. Blazer could still come back, but 80's cooking right now, man. Come on, Blazers. Come, show me some fight. Show me some fight, bro. Anyway, we saw after the cross jacket, after Lee fought out, he hit the spear bomb. I love how Lee has his finishing moves named after Dragon Ball Z. Love that. I was hoping to see the Big Bang attack and maybe see Kross kick out of that, but we never got that. We got the spear bomb. Kross did kick out at 2.5. Then we saw the fight transition to the top rope, and it looks like Lee was going to go for something big, but Kross was able to fight out of it, and he hit a huge superplex for the win. It was a surprising ending. I didn't think that was going to end the match, but that's what happens, and Karrion Kross is your new NXT champion. One thing I did love after the match, we saw Scarlett enter the ring. And, you could tell the emotion, that emotion mixed with reality. Because if you guys know Kross and Scarlett's story, man, they weren't in the best place. They were not in the best place coming out or before they signed with NXT, and seeing how far they've come, and you can see Scarlett punching Cross in the chest. You could tell she was so happy, and the success they're having, well deserved. Even though I feel like his push to the top of NXT was a little bit rushed, I am very happy for Karrion Kross here. Like I said, I don't like Lee being a transitional champion, but I do expect Undisputed Era and Keith Lee to debut on NXT or on Raw and SmackDown this upcoming week. Couple of other things. I don't see Kross losing that title anytime soon. All right, I would not be surprised if we get, Kross as champion for the next 7 or 8 months. With the way you built him up, it's going to take somebody really serious to take that title off him. And we know Tommaso Ciampa, he is coming back to NXT, and he's definitely coming back for Goldie. Ciampa's not going after the North American Championship. The only championship he's going for is Goldie, the NXT title. And, with what happened after only 4 minutes left. Blazers, come on, make a run. But after what happened, takeover in your house. Dame misses a 3. After what happened after in your house, it was just, what's gonna happen with Ciampa here. But now that we see Kross as champion, Ciampa's gonna be looking for payback. He's gonna want the NXT champion. He's gonna want payback on Kross for destroying him easily at In Your House. So then I think that's where we're going from here. Unless they could easily give us another match with Keith Lee and they could easily give us another match with Keith Lee and Kross, but I don't think that's the direction we're going to. I think Lee's going to the main roster, and we're going to see Undisputed Era follow him. Another thing, NXT UK is coming back. NXT UK is coming back. We have not seen NXT UK since this whole pandemic started. I know a lot of you guys miss NXT UK. I miss it as well. It has been announced that they are testing some of the UK superstars. Looks like they're going to be returning in London. It's going to be interesting. If I don't know if they found a venue to do the matches. They're probably not going to have fans. I don't know UK's COVID situation, but it is definitely going to be interesting to see where they go with NXT UK. But NXT UK, I believe they were announced to have their return September 17th on the WWE Network. So for NXT UK fans, there you go. NXT UK is coming back. But other than that, that's about all I got for you guys today, man. NXT TakeOver 30. Like I said, it's crazy to think about it. 30 NXT TakeOver events. And like I said, I can't think of a bad one. I can only think of some that were good, great, and amazing. I can't say any takeover was bad, but they definitely, did this job with TakeOver 30 tonight. I just wish there was a crowd. Great matches. Kross is the new NXT champion. We are in the era of Karrion Kross, so it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Tommaso Ciampa coming back to NXT on Wednesday. That is going to be hype. But definitely NXT TakeOver 30. Good show tonight. Enjoyed it. And now we look towards SummerSlam on Sunday. SummerSlam on Sunday. So before you guys leave, do me 2 things. Do me a couple things, all right? Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the podcast. It helps me out. Also, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for the SummerSlam live reaction stream. We will be going live around 7 o'clock for SummerSlam. I'll be on Discord with a couple of my friends. We will be live reacting to all of SummerSlam. And right after SummerSlam goes off the air, we'll be right back here with the SummerSlam review. I'm hoping not to have to give the rant of the century. I'm hoping that Sasha Banks retains, but we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. But other than that, guys, I might, depending on when you guys are watching this, Sunday morning, I might be doing a reaction to WWE Untold. They did that with Sasha Banks and Bayley today, and I haven't watched it yet. So hopefully if I have time, maybe after the Lakers game or tomorrow morning, definitely if you guys want, I will do a reaction to Sasha Banks versus Bayley NXT Untold. But tomorrow's the big day. SummerSlam live reaction stream review right after that, right here on the Legit Shoot podcast. And we got the Monday Night Raw review right after that. So if you guys haven't checked out my SummerSlam preview and predictions, that is also live on the channel. So thank you guys so much for joining me here on the podcast here today. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you guys are new to the channel, as always, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you guys are new. Follow me on Twitter. You guys know I love live tweeting with you guys. Also, enable notifications by clicking the bell right next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys for the love and support. Let's keep it up. I'll see you guys tomorrow for SummerSlam. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night, guys. Stay safe and healthy. Peace.